well, I want to learn.
The Victorious Fatherland Liberation Museum, which is located in Pyongyang, capital of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, has on display the original historical documents and other evidences related to the Korean War broken out on June 25, 1950. Then, who started the Korean War? The following scenes give an answer to this question. Having recognized Korea as a bridge for its Asian aggression and the military base for the realization of its strategy for world domination, the United States had long advocated the Korean War. In his Union message to the Congress in 1945, President Truman of the United States declared that a new war was needed in Korea for the United States to take the dominant position in the world. On September 8, 1945, the U.S. imperialists occupied South Korea without firing a bullet and enforced a military rule. Hachi, the then commander of the U.S. Armed Forces occupying South Korea, proclaimed, "There exists only one government in Korea south of 38 degrees north latitude, and it is the military government established on the basis of the proclamation of the Commander-in-Chief of the U.S. Army in replacement of the Japanese military government." The U.S. military government in South Korea retained all the military and police fascist mechanisms which had existed under the Japanese colonial rule, and issued the military government ordinances numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. In addition, the United States began to organize the South Korean Puppet Army according to the military government ordinance number 28, which covered the military issues. The United States disbanded by force the People's Committees in all parts of South Korea and outlawed the activities of all democratic political parties and social organizations. Then, they illegally fabricated the Syngman-Rhee regime through the subversive May 10th separate election. The United States turned South Korea into hell on earth, with peace and democracy wantonly disturbed, and whipped up anti-North war hysteria. The United States forcibly dropped the students and young people in both urban and rural areas for military training and reformed the existing National Defense Force into the regular ROK Army, to which it gave the American-style military education and training under strict supervision and control. On the other hand, the United States handed over a huge amount of war supplies and hardware to the South Korean Puppet Army under the signboard of aid and additional aid.
RFK is Republic of Korea.
1949, the United States committed a lot of armed provocations along the 38th parallel. The United States made a colossal amount of profit by selling its military hardware in the World War II. After World War II, however, the United States lost the market for its weapons and other military hardware, and consequently plunged into catastrophic economic crisis.
That's 1930s.
They thought that the outbreak of the Korean War would save them from the depression and stepped up the war preparation more frantically. They built or rehabilitated the military bases and facilities on Japan's coast, including the Air Force Base in Okinawa, and turned them into their strategic strongholds so that they could rapidly support the Korean War immediately if it broke out. High-ranking officials of the U.S. political and military circles flew to South Korea one after another. They found themselves in the front-line trenches along the 38th parallel, and having mapped out an operational plan for the Korean War, openly instigated the South Korean private army to armed intrusions into territory beyond the 38th parallel. In February 1950, MacArthur called Seung-man Rhee to Turkey and had a secret talk with him, in which the former gave to the latter the 11-point instruction for the Korean War in July that year. Seung-man Rhee sent the following letter to his private American political advisor, Oliver. I feel strongly that now is the most psychological moment when we should take an aggressive measure. Then our line of defense must be strengthened along the Tumen and Yarra rivers. We will be in a 100% better position. On June 17, 1950, the U.S. presidential envoy Dulles flew to South Korea with a mission to inspect the war preparation and fix the date for the start of war. Speaking to the South Korean National Assembly, he blustered that the United States is ready to give moral and material support to South Korea, which was fighting against communism in the northern half. In his farewell message to Seung-man Rhee, Dulles wrote, I attach great importance to the decisive role which your country can play in the great drama that is unfolding. Having inspected the parade of the U.S. Army in the Far East in front of the Royal Palace in Turkey, together with the Secretary of Defense Johnson, Chairman of the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff Bradley, and Presidential Envoy Dulles, MacArthur had a talk with them, in which they came to the final conclusion to start the Korean War on June 25, 1950. military group explained to Seungmanri, "We have chosen the June 25th, and this explains our prudence. It is Sunday. It's settled for both the United States and South Korea Christian states. No one will believe we have started the war on Sunday." Under secret order, the airplanes began to be unveiled in the hangars, and the U.S. Air Force in Japan was replenished with bombers and fighters. In addition, all the units of the South Korean Target Army along the 38th parallel were put on emergency alert. To mislead the world opinion, however, the high-ranking officers of the MacArthur staff were on a weekend excursion to Nikon, a resort area in Japan, and the fictitious frontline officers were ordered to spread the rumor as if they had been startled to get the news of the war in the middle of the ball in the Army Club in Seoul. A few hours before the start of the war, on the other hand, the American families were all shipped away to Japan by a Norwegian boat. The people in the northern half of the Republic were enjoying another peaceful day on Saturday, June 24. At 4 a.m., June 25, 1950, the South Korean Target Army broke out the aggressive war against the northern half of the Republic at the instigation of the United States. Later, in his memoir, MacArthur confessed that the North Korean army was positioned in not offensive but defensive system. The whole world unanimously denounces the United States as the starter of Korean War. This is how the catastrophe of misfortune, sufferings, and death was imposed upon the people in the northern half of the Republic, who had been actively engaged in the building of a prosperous democratic nation, singing of their true happiness of liberation from the colonial rule of Japanese imperialism. The historical documents and other evidences displayed at the Victorious Fatherland Liberation Museum clearly proves how many Korean people shed blood and how serious damage was done to the home country in the Korean War broken out by the United States.